issue, and I asked Nikki to come tonight, we're gonna discuss the budget. So I will let you folks.
Well, last year, at first glance, it appeared that Carol had allocated $707,000 from the fund balance. On further review, it looks like she had allocated $500,000 more. So it just was in the format that is not usually seen. So it was accounted for in the fund balance, but instead of using 780,000, she had allocated 1.2 million. So that did throw off the numbers that I was looking at for this year, because it used a lot of fund balance that I had thought we'd be able to use. So I did go through the budget again and analyzed a few numbers, BOCES numbers, some salary numbers that we had done rough estimates, so I rated in the estimates. On this sheet, I just want to show you where we stand. Right now, we have 9.8 million in state aid, 1.7 million in taxes, and about 45,000, which is very little in miscellaneous revenues, clear interest and rent and other small things.
Which one? This one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the top section is the revenues
And we're talking about next year's budget?
next year, yeah.
Okay.
Expenses is basically, I have it, I just took these numbers. So if you want to see the individual expenses, they're in here. Again, I whittled that down a little bit. For next year, again, because we used more fund balance than I anticipated, we're using about the full 750,000, just about. So that obviously, I had thought we were going to use about 200,000. So that does leave us with a little more of a gap, and less fund balance than what we have. So our deficit right now is 1.1 million. Our recommended tax increase is what should have been done last year, I feel, is 3%. So I'm recommending 6% for this year. Last year we had nothing, and there's actually later, for the next page, it shows the history of our taxes and the increase. And I'll also show you on the bottom what each percent, or 1.5%, will raise for taxes. 1% raises 17,000. So put these in perspective.
Just if you don't
Yeah.
mind, just the 1.1 million, I just want to clarify that does not include adding fund balance yet. And I think that's where some of the confusion is, that you've seen it different ways with different business managers, some will
Right.
show you. And so I just want to make sure we're all on the same page, we're all understanding it. So the 1.1 million is the true revenue and expenses, not applying any fund balance at this point.
And that is basically what I had anticipated, just in a different view. I anticipated about 300,000 shy. It's a little more than that because of last year's miscommunication, I guess.
It's really this year.
This year.
Back
Current year.
this car for a second.
Okay.
Last year, we were told that the fund balance was $787,000.
Mhm.
So you're telling us that we shouldn't have been told $787,000, we should have been told $1.2 million.
Well, this is where it gets, so we did some research, because I remember last year when we had the public forum here, I met with Sue before the finance committee meeting,
Right.
and Carol had given, a sheet, I thought I brought it here, a sheet that she had put together of a draft, and this would have been, I think, March 5th, maybe. I'm not sure when the meeting was, but this is when she put it together, and she had 3 different scenarios, and it was just different for me, because I had never seen it done this way, where everything stayed the same except the basic formula, the general rate, and that changed depending on what you wanted the tax levy to be. So upon further investigation, we were looking at her notes and stuff, and we actually, Becky even called her, but she doesn't remember a lot. I mean, you remember some of it, but it was, a year ago, and she's in a new school now. But, so at first we thought, well, maybe she didn't take into the gap elimination adjustment into account, because that was about the amount, but in her notes, it is there. So what I think thing she did was, instead of at one point, she also had, I don't know, she also had a draft budget that was presented, this was back in February, where it showed a gap of 560,000, a shortfall, but there was also 727,000 appropriated. And I think that's where it wasn't clear, that it was appropriated 700,000 in fund balance, but also another 500,000 to make up for that shortfall. So that's why I want to make sure tonight we're talking the same language, so that you understand what you're actually appropriating. My preference would be put it all in a white fund balance. It's there, you know what you're appropriating every year. I think the reason it wasn't is because you don't always spend what you're appropriating. So I think Carol felt comfortable that you weren't going to spend the 500,000, and I think she's right, you're not going to. So I think that's why the revenues were played with. I'm not sure if I'm making sense or not. But, you know,
It's a big difference,
Yeah.
yeah.
and I'm still, when we voted on our budget, we thought it was 700 and some thousand.
Right.
I'm not sure how it got to be a million.
Yeah. Well, because 500,000 was put in the revenue. So basically.
Where was it
revenues were-
listed? Was it listed from the fund balance?
It was like, no, it was listed under state aid basic formula.
So then we didn't know that we were getting that much out of our fund balance.
Well, the only way you would know is if you understood this worksheet, which I'm not sure anyone did, you know, because Sue and I looked at it and we had a hard time. I mean, I'm trying to be politically correct and not throw anyone under the bus, but at the same time, I want to make sure you understand this.
Well, and actually, the reason I'm asking is, I want to understand it, because I certainly don't want it to happen again.
Right, absolutely, and that's why I'm here, because I want to make sure that we're
I'm
on.
not
Thank you
sure
for
anybody
coming.
understands that.
Yeah.
You've got
It's
two
a very
people in your own office, and one is saying this, and you're saying, well, that's not the way I usually do it, this is kind of an antiquated way, this is the new way. But at some point, we should have shared with the right information, because we go to people, we say, this is the truth, this is the way we understand it. Well, it was, but we didn't understand it right.
Well, and if we could just skip ahead for a second, maybe some of this will make a little more sense. We put together, this was based on the audit reports, you know, the audited information, the last two sheets, which is a fund balance analysis. So what it's showing is what you budgeted for revenues and expenses and how they actually came in each year, to give you a sense of historically what's happening. So historically, besides a few flip years, you've actually added to your fund balance. You've never spent what you've appropriated.
Right.
You know, so I think, you know, things are going well. My concern is, like most schools, and like every school, things are starting to change. The revenues are flat, you're not getting the state aid increases, you're not keeping up with expenses. So I think we're in a new era where you're gonna, well, we know you're in a new era where you're gonna start spending fund balance. I wanna make sure everybody understands that, so that we have a long-term financial plan in place.
We thought we did understand it before. That's the part, so even after we say we understand it this time, we're not just sure we're not gonna be back here in a year saying, you guys didn't understand it.
Well, I think that's why I talked to Sue today about the format. We gotta make sure that the format we use is the one that you're comfortable with and that you're used to. You
Well,
know,
I think
in
if
terms of
it's
how
fund
it-
balance, what it needs to say fund balance. And
So what's the bottom line, how much money we gotta come up with?
Well, okay, if we go back, I'm sorry, I'm skipping around. If we go back to the very first sheet, really when Becky first, I think, presented the budget, the gap was actually, 'cause again, we're talking
It's 326,000.
plus the 727,000, you know, so it's increased 140,000 from that. You know, so it's now up to 466,889 plus the 727,000 that you typically appropriated. So that's where I think there's been some confusion, is because sometimes we talk two different terms, and I want to make sure we're all talking about the same thing. So I don't know if it's clear to not appropriate fund balance at first and do it later, or to, you know, and so that's what this new one is doing here, is showing you revenues, expenses, what the deficit is, and then you can decide how much fund balance, how much cuts, how much, you know, however you want to do the rest of it. I think that, then that way next year we can't go back and say, well, you know, there was 500,000 that wasn't, you know, your revenues and your expenses are what they are. You know, Becky's been through them, I've been through them, we've been through them together.
The back page looked like there was two options on the buses.
Yes.
Can
And
we possibly put our buses in to a 5-year plan to pay them instead of taking all that money out?
Yes.
And
Yeah,
that is the option, yeah. And that's why I had anticipated using about 250,000 of the fund balance this year for the buses. That's what it appeared to be over at my first glance. So we could financing cost is for $350,000. We would use 86,000 would, however, we have to increase the budget for next year in order to offset that, because we're gonna start making payments on it. So it's gonna be about 86,000 for 5 years.
So I guess there's pros and cons. The pros of doing the financing would be you're preserving your fund balance for this year, because you're taking that 350,000 and kind of spreading that out into 5 years. The con is in your 13-14 budget, you're gonna have to increase your debt service for that first payment.
So
And
how
then-
much interest,
We're going forward.
how much per year is the interest on if we do those buses, 5 years per year?
It was
It
86,000 total.
was for
Yeah.
the payment for next year, and then it would go down slightly over the next 5 years.
That included principal.
Yes. And that is an estimate based on what we have, the market might be different, but when we go to finance. So it is an option that we do have.
BOCES doesn't have any insurance, so when there's a goof up, the school district is covered a little bit.
No, because, I mean, the problem is, it was there, I just don't think it was maybe communicated or explained clearly. I wasn't there, at the meeting, so I don't know how it was presented to you. But when I look through here, I mean, it is here, I mean, she even shows she didn't budget for $630,000 foundation at one point. She has notes that, she was directed, or she was under the impression, and she said that the board didn't want to make any cuts, they wanted to preserve educational programs in these fund balance. So from there, it leads to, that's where the 500,000 got switched. Because then it was the next meeting, and all of a sudden, the general aid was moved.
Go ahead.
So 500,000 is applied from the fund balance as aid?
Well, I mean, the good news is you're not going to use all the 1.2 million that was appropriated this year, so I want to make that clear. I mean, you're still going to be within what you all thought was the 700,000. The difference is you haven't always used what you appropriated. So, I mean, I guess I'm not sure how to explain that. So you're not using 1.2 million. I want to just make sure that that's clear. It's still within the 727,000 that you appropriated.
Right.
So we're 1.1 million short, and if we use the 740, whatever it is, thousand that we use, then that leaves us still with a shortfall of 500,000.
Or 446,000.
This is still trying to understand whether we get this 1.2 million versus what we had thought before. So you're saying that Carol had applied an additional 500,000 from the fund balance towards.
Well, I think what happened was, and again, when we talked to her, she couldn't remember, she racked her brain all weekend, she was trying to really piece it all back together. Because you typically had surplus in your budget, which is what those 2 pages show. I think she felt comfortable that you weren't gonna use that 500,000, so you didn't really take it out of fund balance. The problem is going forward though, you're starting to use fund balance because your budget is just getting squeezed. Your revenues aren't increasing, your expenditures are, so something has to give. So what's happening is each year as you go along, you're going to be using more and more of that appropriated fund balance because there's no revenue to offset it, so. So you're using the 700,000, that 500,000, it was just put into, basically your revenues were overstated by 500,000. So at the end of the year, when you close the books, you're going to be short on the revenue side, is what it's,
So the budget was showing 500,000 that didn't exist then?
yeah. I mean, that's my understanding.
And that's for this year.
For 12, 13. 13, 14 is kind of corrected. I mean, it's in there, we've been through it.
But we still had to take money out of funds this year to put it back in,
Well,
put into the fund balance.
what do you mean funds out of?
Because did we still have to go to reserves, or do we still have to go to reserves?
No, but that's one of our suggestions is because when we talk fund balance, there's different terminology. The reserve portion has to be used for a specific purpose.
Right.
Then there's the unreserved. The
Right.
unreserved you can use anyway. That's what you typically use to
Right.
appropriate. That's the part that's getting squeezed. So our suggestion is if we can move some out of the reserves into that,
Right.
that's gonna free up a little bit and give you some breathing room. Again, you're still using fund balance. Fund balance is fund balance. I don't wanna make it sound like there's extra money that,
Yes, and we need to be very clear on what we're talking about.
yes.
because obviously there was a problem.
So this year, for 2012, 23, for this year's budget, so you're saying we use the fund balance that we had
Appropriate.
appropriated, plus an additional?
No, I'm sorry, no additional, just the 700,000.
So we're going
Okay,
to
that's what I
use,
thought you were just saying.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry, I misspoke.
so we're going to use the 750 that we had set aside.
Yeah, and hopefully it'll be less. I mean, we're doing projections at this point in time. Typically, we're conservative, so it should be a little less than the 727 that you spoke. I think we had it at 715,000 something.
So how does that affect the, I guess I don't see why that would affect the 23?
Well, my concern is that you haven't really used fund balance when you've appropriated it. You're starting to, I just want to make sure you understand that, because there's going to become an end where you're not going to have fund balance if you continue doing that. That's why I'm here tonight. I want to just make sure you understand. You've done it before. I mean, back in 07, 08, you did use what you appropriated, but then the next year you didn't. I'm not sure there's going to be an extra year at point. I don't see the revenues changing. So I just want to make sure that you understand that, because it hasn't happened in, I think, 4 years that you've used fund balance. It's kind of like you put it there, but you never had to. Things worked your way.
Right,
At the end of the year,
the hedge,
you know, it was there again for the next year.
and
but-
we didn't know if the state was gonna pull money back, they had been in the middle of the year, so it was something to protect yourself if the state changed again their aid that we were getting. So we always put some, we were ready there for any withdrawal that they took. But this is tough,
Yeah.
it's very tough. And I understand Becky has done a wonderful job coming into our school, being a part of our school, and she's been great. But this is a killer for our school. We have got to be able to have numbers that we can rely on, because our kids have got to be prepared. And when I look at this list of cuts right here, I don't know what to say to you, I really don't. And I understand mistakes happen, but it's really been, when you start looking at the end of the budget that you're in and are trying to find that much money, it's really tough.
What safeguards, is there any safeguards that you built into the way you prepare the budget so this won't happen again?
Well, I'm not sure.
I did
what-
ask Nikki to review, and that's where we're kind of.
Yeah, and there is a common template that we do use in most of the schools. It's used in Harrisville, but it wasn't used here, so I guess I'm not sure why. Because we do try to put, so that if somebody had to step in for another business manager, there'd be some consistency in it, and they'd be able to follow it, so. But I think also, you were a non-CBO district, so I think Carol was trying to get the information into her own template, but at the same point, not making it too different from what you were used to, so I think it was some sort of introduction.
But one of the things I don't remember, all last year, we kept saying, well, this money, remember, everything was moved to very many different
Oh,
places.
yes.
So that's, it was creating havoc in a sense that we didn't really understand. I did, because I sat down with her day after day, but in this part, it was kind of unforeseen. But it was very different.
I'm still not convinced that it's, the people didn't understand it. She presented it to a room full of citizens, to the board, to, these presentations, and nobody else picked up on it. So I'm gonna have to kind of lean toward the idea that it wasn't presented well, or it was confusing. And we hire you to give us accurate, correct numbers that we can understand, and we aren't bookkeepers. But the citizen also is there listening and asking questions, and they didn't get it either.
I think it's time for us to move on to seeing what we can do about it. Thank you, Nikki, for coming in.
Well, that's fine. I do apologize.
I know it's tough, I know.
One other question, if we borrow the money for the buses, does this 6% increase, that takes care of that right there, that 86,000 payment per year? Or do we have to add to the 6%?
No, you would have to add, because we're, if you look down, sorry, we didn't finish, but, we talk about the tax increase, and then if you move further down, it talks about retirees, not replacing the two retirements, and then savings from that. And then it goes down further to talk about the bus purchases. So that was assuming that you paid for it all in 12, 13, which you have done already. We could still finance, but what that would do is free up debt service next year for a payment. So if you decide to finance it, we're gonna have to find another 86.8 next year. you're gonna have it in fund balance.
Well, we're actually not
It's
gonna, I
nice.
don't think we're gonna have to find it, I think we just wouldn't reduce it, so instead of
Correct, that's what
900.
I mean,
Yeah, so instead of 932, it would be,
or eight
we'd
forty-five.
be, instead of 845, we'd stay at the 932, we wouldn't go down to that third level.
So then what is the percentage that you have to go up to if we finance it? Because those are all the facts we're gonna have before we decide what we're gonna do. What percentage above the 6% are we gonna
You'd
have?
have to go 11%,
Well,
11.
wow.
Wow.
I mean, to quickly look at it and add it, it's 87 for another 5.
Wow. Dump some land.
Well, but actually the 6% is with financing, or with paying for it this year.
Right.
He said he was gonna take it out.
So that's a much better option,
Yes,
is
it is.
pay for it and get it over with.
Yes.
Because I couldn't financially go 11% a year.
Well, we
No.
technically, with the tax cap, can only do 9.
Yeah, well, that's our limit this year is 9?
Even
It was like
9.
9.8, it's.
Well, I'm, not that we run on it,
No,
so
I-
what I limit was.
You got any amount of property or anything, mister, that's gonna kill you right there.
Obviously, as far as the specific list that I gave out, I will have to do that in executive to start because it has individual names or people's, so I don't want to go there at this point. And, I mean, I think everybody knows, and I'm not trying to say this ad deal, you know, the unions have all been told there is no cuts, there's no layoffs, and we find ourselves in a very different situation tonight, which we didn't find out until Thursday afternoon, once we got state run sheets, which is when Becky started doing the work that she would be doing, because that's when we get that stuff.
Right.
So it's not like anybody held it or waited, or, it's just really unfortunate because we thought we were going to be approving our budget.
Is there a reason why our auditors didn't catch this? Is it?
Well, it's not that funds were mismanaged, or you would have had to make cuts of 500,000 or appropriate fund balance. I mean, it's just the you know what I don't know how to explain that, but it's not like, you would have had to either make the cuts last year, this year, I mean, it was going to happen. You know what I'm saying? It's not that she mismanaged money or that,
Right.
you know,
right,
that
I understand
it would have just been helpful had you known that, I think, last year, because it would have helped you prepare better. But you were eventually gonna have to make some tough decisions. I don't know if I'm explaining that right.
Well, because our understanding was it was 727,000, not 1,000,000.2.
I mean, the good
And
news is you're
that's-
not spending the 1.2 out of fund balance, but you're still spending 700,000.
So,
Should we set up, like Lynn said, though, we're not business managers or anything, but is there a committee or something that we should set up to somehow look at these figures
The audit committee.
okay?
I mean, to look at, finish what you're going to say, Tom, because I don't, were you going to say to look at the cuts, or to look at,
Well, just so we don't end up in this predicament again. I mean, we think this is,
There's no guarantee we're not gonna end up in this again. If we're given the wrong information, we're gonna be in the same spot we were before.
well, that's what I'm trying to say, is there something we can do, either that audit committee or something else, so we have another backup, so this don't happen?
Well, I do have, maybe check my work.
No, I think
Somebody else,
for them
yeah.
to have, yeah, and I understand what you're saying,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, you could ask your internal auditor to come in, you know, the thing is, though, in next year's budget, you don't need to have an internal auditor, so it would be an extra expense that you would need to have, but, I know, and I believe Morristown and Clifton Finance, they both have an internal auditor come in and just look through the budget.
but we have an
Whatever.
internal auditor.
Yeah.
No, not the claims auditor, this would be, no, you use
Posted.
Olson and Hoffman, right.
So
For this year, but next year you don't, so that's a decision you
But
can make.
that
Whatever
did help
the
us this year,
expense, it's gonna be cheaper than something like this.
but that would have helped us, we had,
They didn't catch it this
they
year.
didn't catch it.
Right, we have it.
Well, and I think part of it is state aid runs change every day too. You know, so right now it's 500,000, but it might have only been 300,000 6 months ago. Or it could have been 800, you know, because things do change. If BOCES updates any numbers, if Becky goes in and updates any numbers, if your beds data is, which is in enrollment, attendance gets updated, stacked, special ed, if any of those change or get updated. So it is somewhat a moving target with the state aid. There's never a point in time that it's finalized and that's it, it won't change.
No, but what we use out of the bug fund balance should not be a moving target, what we appropriate to take out of it. And that's where we have to make sure, I don't care if we have to put a great big star by it, Becky, just something that we know that this is the total amount that we want to take out of this fund balance and are appropriate to take out of that. So we know where we stand when it comes time, when we do have to make adjustments.
Probably
Well, all right.
CSC and all this.
Is there anything else before we go to executive session? Do you have anything else? Or is there, Becky, you're all set? Okay. I'm really glad you found that. We found sooner or later, I'm glad you found it. Could I have a motion to go into executive session to discuss collective negotiations pursuant to Article 14 of the Civil Service Law, medical, financial credit, or employment history of a particular person, or matters leading to the appointment, employment, promotion, demotion, discipline, or removal of a particular person or corporation, and CSE. Rick, and who is that, Lynn? All in favor? Any opposed? Executive session at 7:33.
So can I ask you, did we know this, like, before we started the building project, or was this just?
We just found out Thursday.
Thursday.
It was a very long Thursday afternoon.
Thank
It
you.
really doesn't have anything to do with the building project. That's a whole separate. I know people are gonna say, oh, I knew they were. You know, they said this wasn't cost the district anything, but now they're raising taxes, but one has nothing to do with the other.
It was, we got our state aid